Blast off!
You are on. We have begun. I doubt that anybody's on right yet, because I can't imagine people just waiting around to click their little button to get on at 9:15 exactly. But we'll start out. It seems like we always have people trickling in, about 9:30. So they're going to miss the best stuff and you guys are going to get rewarded. I'm going to do all the best stuff the first 15 minutes.
Just right off. Just get after it.
Yeah.
So we're getting it, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
They're going to miss it.
So for those of you who are online or who are watching this, later than live, this is Unity of Springfield in Springfield, Missouri. It is December 29, 2024. It is the last Sunday of 2024. And good morning, Carla. Okay. So, everybody have a good Christmas? Eric and I were just talking about that. Did anybody come to the dinner here? Oh, good.
I think it's very enjoyable.
How many people showed up?
We knew somebody was going to ask us that.
Okay.
But pretty much, we think between 30 and 40 because
Wow.
most of the tables are filled.
You know what a great thing. And,
It's just grown every year.
It has grown every year, and what a needed, thing. Were there people that were not members that
A
came?
lot of people.
Yeah. I'm so glad, because, I think about those people who, they're by themselves. So many people spend Christmas alone, and it's not a happy thing.
Right.
It can be, and I remember being in that space in my life, many Christmases past, and I would have loved to have had something like this, to pop into, and, just be with other people, So let's go ahead and we're just going to center ourselves, okay? So we'll just have a centering meditation just for 30 seconds. And good morning, Linda. So, just feel comfortable sitting, Jerry standing. Just take a big, deep breath in and let it go. All the tensions that you felt this morning, maybe the hustle and bustle of the week, all the things that you have been thinking about that, I need to get this done, I need to get that done, just breathe it out. And now you're here. You're present. You are home. You're home in both your body and with your spiritual community. And you can just relax. And enjoy that invigorating spirit that is the you that you carry around with you all the time, except the spirit now is just present. You are present with your spirit. And with that feeling, I welcome all of you. Namaste. Hey, Yogi. Good morning. One thing I was thinking about, I never did resolutions, or if I did, I didn't take them seriously. And every time I did make a resolution, what did I do? Broke them. Forgot about them, and just never gave them much thought, And then John and I switched. I was going to do last Sunday, and he had to be gone this Sunday, so I decided to, take on December 29th. I could go ahead and continue on with what I had been talking about with Miss, which I really love. But I thought, this is a good time. It's right just before New Year's. I don't even know, why do we have New Year's resolutions? I thought this would be something that I could learn, okay? So I just got online and did research. And I wanted to find out what the history was, why, how long ago, did we start New Year's resolutions, how have they evolved throughout the years, and I really learned quite a bit. And so I'm going to pass along some of the anyway, that, that I picked up. So one of my resolutions that I thought I wanted to do was, I thought about, my mind went to Al. Everybody knew Al, right? Al was great. He would always come in, he would just be in such a good spirit. And he would be, laughing no matter what the situation is going on. He would always tell sometimes a little bit shady of a joke or a story or something. And it's just like, I want to laugh more. I just want more humor in my life. So you're going to get a few of my jokes that I'm going to pass around. Okay, so we're going to start off with, why did Beethoven get rid of his chickens? Do I have an idea? Because they were always going bok, 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 bok. Okay, that went over like a lead balloon. Why wasn't the cactus invited to hang out with the mushrooms?
The what?
The cactus. Why wasn't the cactus invited to hang out with the mushrooms?
His prickly personality.
Well, no, that's a good answer. It was because he wasn't a fun guy.
Oh.
And why you're gonna get this one. I just know someone, or maybe all of you will get this. Why can't a nose be 12 inches long? Because then it would be a foot. Okay. So New Year's resolutions. New Year's resolutions are actually just setting goals, right? We set goals constantly. We wouldn't function. We wouldn't do well. We wouldn't be here today if we didn't set the goal of being here today, right? You put it in your mind. You have that intention. But everything we do, if you think about it, it's actually a goal. The New Year's resolutions are something, it's really just about kind of starting over. It's something generally a little bit bigger that you want to change in your life, more than just the normal day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month things that we do. And again, it's something I didn't ever really care about too much, but I thought it is something that is taken seriously by many people, and it really does have great intentions. So, I was walking on the trail, which, now this is another one of my goals. Now, it's not a New Year's resolution, but I have wanted to get myself healthier. Last time I got my blood work, some of my numbers were up on cholesterol. My liver wasn't showing good signs, and my doctor said, lose 30 pounds and get out there and just do exercise a lot. And so I have. I've lost 22 pounds. I feel better. I feel more energetic. And last time I did my blood work, it was fantastic. But anyway, so I'm trying to do 5-mile walks, about 4 times a week. So anyway, I'm out on the trail yesterday, and I meet someone who used to be a member of this church. She hasn't been for many, many years, but we're kind of trail buddies now. We meet each other coming and going. And so we're talking about, what we're going to be doing for New Year's. And she goes, well, you are doing black-eyed peas, aren't you? And I'm going, no. And it was like, oh, yeah, you got to do black-eyed peas because they bring good luck, And I was like, okay, I like black-eyed peas just fine, but it's not something I've ever thought about. But a lot of people I know, I've heard this many times, they do black-eyed peas. We all have our traditions.
I have a salad to make the black-eyed pea salad.
Okay,
It's really
there you
good.
go. Yeah,
My mother always, even if you just took one little bite, you had to
you had to have black-eyed peas.
had to have your black eyed peas.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I know, I can't remember if it's Christmas Eve or New Year's Day on my wife's, at the time, her mom and dad, they would always make oyster soup every year. I think it was New Year's Eve, But, I don't like oysters that much, but I went along and, ate my oyster soup. But anyway, New Year's resolutions are actually just kind of a tradition for, most people, most families. And,
I heard a thing this week.
yeah.
Tradition is peer pressure from dead people.
Okay.
It's true.
That's good.
Yeah. And I totally get that too. It's kind of funny, but It's
I
a
was
good way
like,
of looking at it. Really, I think a lot of us, we do follow tradition, you know, and we might not even think about that being tradition. But I think it's kind of it's a comfort, it's a safety place. Why do a lot of people, you know, go to some of the things that they do that, you know, I see these groups, you know, where the men wear funny hats and, you know, it's just like, it's tradition, you know, it's just the way they've always done it. And I think they just feel safe about that or something, as my guess. Anyway. So this is my philosophy, three things I thought about. If I were to give people advice on, you know, New Year's resolutions, you don't have to start it January 1st. You know, it can be started anytime. You could start it January 6th. You know, you could start it December 1st, whatever. And it doesn't have to have a deadline. A lot of times when I read about resolutions, it says, you know, it has to be measured. You know, so it's something like if you're going to lose weight, you know, well, set a goal. And it has to be done at this time. And you have to lose that much by this time. And it's like, no, not really. I had a goal to have more humor in my life, right? So it's like I could have it measurable, and I could put down, okay, I need to be able to tell 3 stories a month, maybe. Like Al, I noticed with Al, he would tell the same story over and over and over to different people, but he would only do it for maybe a couple weeks or 3 weeks or something like that, and then it would be a new story. Okay, so I could kind of read Al that he got this story and he had it. It wasn't exactly just a short joke like what I was saying, but he would come up with a story that took a couple minutes to say, and then it would just have. He was always so hilarious. I just loved him. You know, but he would change his stories, you know, after 3 weeks to a month or something like that. It was like, yeah, I like that, you know. Every time I do jokes, I forget them, and I can't. And it's like, what was the joke? I just learned it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to remember my jokes, and so I can pass them on and bring a little bit of humor to, you know, people in my life, and you know, it's just a lighthearted thing. So. It doesn't have to be specific, and so it can be something general, as I said. You don't have to measure it. And it's very personal to you. Okay? No one else but you can determine what it is and how it's measured if you choose. Right? Okay? It really shouldn't be something that you think other people want you to do or it's a societal thing. Jerry.
Yeah, if a person can learn to laugh at themselves, they will never cease to be amused.
You know what? There is a lot of truth to that. It is really true. Because we're always doing stuff, aren't we? And you go, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. You know, it is fun. It is fun. Like, as long as you're not getting down on yourself, you know, yeah, Elvie.
So Vashon had a end of the year talk on Mind Valley, and he had us think about the peaks of our last year,
Yeah,
and the valleys of our last year.
yeah,
So, and he just do it right then. So
Yeah.
you're just whatever comes to, and then he had you think about what you learned from that.
yeah,
Then he said, what do you want to feel next year? How do you want to feel? And then he set 2 types of goals, which was something new for me.
Yeah.
One is things you're already achieving.
Yeah.
Like if you've been exercising 20 minutes or say meditating 20 minutes a day, well, it's a goal to keep doing that.
Yeah.
And you're already doing it.
Yeah.
So he said, if you set easy goals, then it keeps your momentum going.
Right.
And then you set a couple of challenge goals that are stretch, because the easy goals keep your momentum, and the stretch goals give you something to look toward. And it's not important whether you reach your goal or not, but that you're growing in that stretch.
Good point.
And then he had one more thing that was so impactful to me. Okay, he said affirmations always bring up a counter in your mind.
Mhm.
So, you say, well, I'm going to do this. And then your mind goes, no, you never do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so he said, instead of making an affirmation, make a question. That's a positive thing. So why is it so easy for me to attain my goal? And put a specific, and he says, when you ask a question, it opens up a wonder in you. And so it opens up your mind to possibilities. And so when you're in that state, the universe can come in and answer your question.
Yeah.
And it bypasses the negative of the affirmation. So if you phrase a question, and you had a name for this kind of question, but if you phrase a question, why is it so easy for me to do this? Then it changes your whole ballgame.
It doesn't put the opposition point in your mind.
Yeah, and so this was, and I had not thought about the, making things that you're already doing as one of your goals because you want to continue it.
Yeah.
But having that as your momentum because you're doing it, and it's it's something you're already doing.
Yeah.
And that aspect of it giving you the momentum to then say, well, I've made goals, I can do this, so I can stretch to do something else. So that's kind of a.
So I'm going to get started on kind of a little bit of history. Good morning, Susan.
Good morning.
So resolutions, New Year's resolutions, actually started around 2000 BC. Okay, and so we look at the time frame between now and when Jesus was here on earth. It was 2,000 years ago. This goes twice as far back. So they've been around a long time. They started with the Babylonians. Now the Babylonians celebrated New Year during a 12-day festival called Akitu. And if you know anything about the Babylonian calendar, it was actually based on a combination of lunar and solar dates. Okay, so there was never any set day every year because they had 12 months, but those 12 months were based on lunar phases. Okay, so lunar phases are not the same as our solar phases. Right? So that changed every year, and but it was always started during the vernal equinox. Okay, the vernal equinox is the first day of spring, right? Okay, and this started the farming season for them, and it was the time to plant crops and to crown the king and to make promises to pay their debts. And one of the biggest common resolutions at the time was to be able to return the farm equipment that you borrowed from your neighbors. That was a big one, okay? And it makes sense because it was an agrarian society, right? And so the Babylonian New Year was adopted by the Romans, and as was the tradition of resolution. So it just kept passing along, And the timing, however, eventually shifted to the Julian calendar in the year 46 BC. Now, we follow that calendar now, okay? And they declared January 1st as the start of the new year. Okay, so January was named for what's called a two-faced Roman god called Janus. And if you ever see like a statue of Janus, he's two-faced. He's looking forward and he's looking backward. So it's, you're looking forward to those new beginnings, and you're looking backwards for the reflection or how you might want to change. Now, today we're doing the burning bowl ceremony, right? We are doing that today. We are looking at maybe what's been going on that we, want to let go of. So we're reflecting. We're going, okay, I want to let this go in my life. And then we're burning that piece of paper, dissolving it in water. So the Romans would offer sacrifices to Janus and make the promises of good behavior for the year. And so we're trying to, I think the next Sunday, aren't we doing the stone ceremony? That's kind of, it's in following this burning bowl or, stone ceremony. We're doing the very same thing that they were doing way before Christ even, okay? So Janus was also the guardian of the gates and doors. He presided over what's called the Temple of Peace, where the doors.
I'm sorry, called the gates of who?
The gates. He was the guardian of the gates and doors, and this was called the Temple of Peace. Okay, and so the doors were only open in wartime, and it was a place of safety where new beginnings and new resolutions could be blended. So, this is just the history of the Roman god Janus. Okay? So, again, this is the vernal equinox. It's a time, it changed to January 1st. So it's a time of leisure to farmers, right? The industrious summer is over. The crops have been brought in. And so the luxury of retiring from that turbulence of our busyness to now the time to reflect and the time to be with our family. So the records of the New Year's resolutions were also made in the Middle Ages. The medieval knights would renew their vow to chivalry by placing their hands on a peacock, and this annual thing was called a peacock vow. And that would take place at the end of the year as a resolution to maintain their knightly values.
That isn't lighthearted because those things are mean.
Oh, are they?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I don't know anything about
And noisy.
it. Okay. Oh, the peacocks. They are very noisy, aren't they? I don't know why they'd place them on a peacock, but maybe they're called. Who knows? By the 17th century, however, New Year's resolutions were so common that folks found humor in the idea of making and breaking pledges. In fact, in 1813, the first recorded instance of New Year's resolutions was made, and it, quote, "And yet I believe there are multitudes of people accustomed to receive injunctions of New Year resolutions who will sin all the month of December with a serious determination of beginning the new year with new resolutions and new behavior, and with the full belief that they shall thus wipe away all their former faults." So they're actually doing whatever the heck they want to do in December so that they could have that resolution to start over. It actually kind of had a, wrong effect. Be honored in December because January 1st you're going to start again. You're going to be
prepared next year.
That's where all those diets on the first of the year.
That's
and
right.
Going out partying on New Year's Eve and all of that.
Yeah. Well, you can start January 2nd. I talked about that before you came in. You don't have to start.
I just want to remind everybody that now have 3 whole days.
We still have 3 whole days to be honored.
Oh, I know. I have to go back to work first. So.
Why? Because it's a weekend or something?
Yeah, just go for it. Grab the bottle.
I
and have
know.
fun.
I know.
3 days till
Got 3 whole days.
3 days to party before, So in the U.S., resolutions are still a tradition, but types of resolutions have changed. And this change really mostly comes about because of our religious Protestant history. So resolutions in the 1900s were more religious. They were reflecting a desire to have stronger moral character, stronger work ethic, more restraint, earthly pleasures.
Naughty.
I know. Okay, so over the years, resolutions seem to have migrated from denying physical indulgences to a general self-improvement, like losing weight, like we just commented on. And while it may seem superficial, today's resolutions are also kind of a reflection of status and financial wealth and just self-discipline. So I looked up, this is from a Gallup poll in 1947, and then they had a current Gallup poll of what the top 10 resolutions are. And so we're looking at things from 70 years ago, something like that. We have this 5 or 6 things are the same from 47 to now, and those things are stop smoking or smoke less, save more money, be more efficient, do a better job, take care of my health, take a greater part of home life, and lose weight. Those were the same 7 years ago as they are now, the top 10 resolutions. The things that were different back then are to, in 47, control my temper, improve my character, stop drinking, and be more religious. You don't see those today. Today, now we have 4 things that are different from back then. Enjoy life to the fullest. That's a good one. I like that idea. Learn something exciting. Help others fulfill their dreams and fall in love. So, kind of like that, shift. So, then I looked up kind of the how-tos, maybe think about putting together a resolution for yourself. And first of all, they, say, keep it simple, maybe do one thing or, 2 at the most, But if you're going to do a resolution, just think about what it is maybe you want to do a shift. So just keep it simple, Avoid using a resolution negatively. In other words, such as quitting, stopping a behavior. Shift it to a positive statement. Okay? Set aside time on your calendar to really pause and reflect to see, how am I doing? I know for myself, whenever I did a resolution, and I remember doing them every January 1st for I don't know how many years, then I just totally forgot about them. But after I did them, I never reflected back. It was just like gone in a few days, and that's okay, I think it's okay to set a goal. Maybe it's just on your resolution. Maybe it's just something you want to keep for a week. Maybe it's just something you want to keep for a month. But make it positive so that you're feeling good about how it is you succeeded in doing that.
Ain't that kind of like Lent? People give up things for
They
Lent.
do, yeah. They give up a lot. Now Lent is based, yeah. I think they give up. Well, they used to give up meat, I think, for and I don't know what the other things are because I don't follow them too much. But everybody have any reflection on Lent? Okay, so I don't know.
Wasn't it cleaning out? I think it's Lent where they have to clean all the yeast out of their house. And so it's a thorough cleansing of your house and starting with new life. And so it's kind of their way of getting rid of the stuff that they don't want, kind of thing.
Isn't Lent tied to Easter?
Yeah, 40
Yeah,
days.
that's-
and
yeah,
49
40.
before Easter.
Yeah, which is Passover, which is
Right.
getting ready to celebrate your freedom.
Okay. Another how-to is pick a goal that you think will make you feel better. Not just something that you think you should do or that society wants you to do, but it's going to make you feel good. It's going to make life easier. It's going to let you breathe more freely. So positive things.
Have more fun.
Excuse me.
Have more fun.
And more fun. There you go. I don't know. I think you walked in after I was talking to you about Al. You'll relate to this. That I want to find. It's like one of my resolutions. I want to have more humor. that's something that Susan can really relate to. And so I talked about Alan. Saw how, he brought joy to other people.
He still does.
He still does, okay. But how I kind of watched him a little bit, and how he got his story down, every few weeks he would have a different story. It was hilarious. And it's because when I tell a joke, I always forget it the next day. It's like, what was that joke? But it seemed like he carried it on. He had the wherewithal to carry that on.
Can I interrupt you real
Go
quick?
ahead. Yeah.
Well, a lot of you know Al and I did devotions. We read devotions together every day, probably forever. It feels like forever.
Yeah.
The first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And I would be sitting outside drinking my coffee, having my morning cigarette when we did it.
Yeah.
And Susan Springer actually joined us the last couple of years. But sitting outside, every now and then the crows would fly over and they'd go, ha, ha, ha. So we decided they were going, ha, ha, ha. So every time I hear a crow now, I say, hey, Al.
Isn't that great? I love that. When you think about what you wish to achieve, consider what the obstacles are that might get in the way and see how you can remove those obstacles. And that's something that often stops me from getting started on. It's like, oh, in order to do A, I've got to get B and C out of the way, And so think about those things that might keep you from getting to where you want to even get to the starting point. Define a goal that's time-bound and realistic. Maybe you could plan for a month at a time, maybe less, Maybe it is something you want to carry on for the rest of the year or your life, But maybe it's just something that you want to get started on. But make it positive. I think that's the thing that's really key here, too, is that it's something that you really choose for yourself that's going to make you feel good. Create an incentive, maybe, if I get this done, if I set this goal, I get to go out to your favorite restaurant, or just spend time with, someone that you haven't seen for a while, whatever it might be. And then change up your routine. Okay, make it so that it's not just the everyday thing that you're doing. If you slip up, don't worry about it. But if you slip up again, maybe you want to reconsider that goal that you set. So, one thing that kind of struck me is there was a mayor's poll of about 1,000 people recently, and they found that 68% of people who actually made a resolution kept it. And I thought, wow, that's very high. I wouldn't have guessed that, because that was not the way with me, for sure. But, when I think about our goals, I was talking to Susan about how resolutions are simply goals, and we have goals all the time. And I use the example, you wouldn't be here today if you didn't set the goal to come here today. And so we want to, we just want to carry this on to a New Year's resolution. It might be something a little more special than just our regular day-to-day goals. It might be something that we actually want to have a change with in our life. And so I thought 68%, that's pretty good. All right, carrying on with my New Year's resolutions. How much do rainbows weigh? Not much. They're actually pretty light. Okay, no one laughed.
Where do rainbows go? Where do rainbows go when they're bad?
Don't know.
Prism.
I didn't realize it was a joke.
Oh yeah, that's even better.
Trying to figure out the way of a rainbow.
Pretty light. Pretty light.
I'm just trying to figure out why that was your New Year's resolution.
It's humor.
Get better at telling jokes.
Get better at telling jokes.
Incoming.
A slice of apple pie costs $2.50 in Jamaica, $3.75 in Bermuda, and $3 in the Bahamas. Those are the real pirates of the Caribbean.
Ah, that's good.
Okay.
So
Why did the
is
football
Is that
coach
apple pie made with Ritz crackers instead of apples?
Pirates.
pirates of
Yeah.
Bermuda?
Oh, God.
Sue keeps telling me all the time, if you have to explain the joke, it's not funny. Okay?
I
Why did the football coach yell at the vending machine?
Why?
He wanted his quarterback. All right, so we're going to go through some. This is taken from another article. Actually, everything that I got is taken from a little bit of research online. There's no book involved.
Paul, you need to like the Gigglebox project page because we still post daily giggles.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to get on there then, because I don't think I have seen that. So I have to like the Google Bus page. Okay.
Gigglebox, yeah.
All right. Good job. Whatever happened? I know that a doctor bought that bus and.
Well, we transferred ownership of the not-for-profit to another not-for-profit affiliated with Cox and Children's Miracle Network.
Okay.
And they let all the boxes we gave them, the empty ones, get wet down in some basement of Cox.
Oh,
And so now they're doing giggle bags.
Okay.
And
But they're still doing it. Though.
yeah, as far as I know.
Yeah.
And the bus we sold to a doctor in Aurora who actually was on leave of absence from Cox.
Okay.
And she was going to get involved.
Yeah.
When she went back.
Oh, okay. That's good. I'm glad the project is still going on.
Yeah.
And it would be really cool if we could see the bus actually happening. Because didn't you use that bus in parades and stuff
All
like
the
that?
time.
Yeah, I thought so.
Well,
that
there's
was
a
probably
video.
a highlight for kids to see something.
There's a video of us painting it out here in the parking
I
lot.
remember seeing that. Yeah, I love that.
I have handprints on it.
Good.
Two.
All right.
I was the only one with two.
Didn't realize there were
Okay.
that many Gigglebox pages. What the
Uh,
heck is that?
So, I'm going to go through a bunch of what are someone's thoughts about what would be great resolutions. I don't know if you want to pick up on any of these things and run with them, or if you just have any other ideas and maybe throw those out as we're talking about these. But, she is saying, it was a woman author, and she was saying, lose weight, quit social media, cut out alcohol completely, blah, 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 snooze fest. They're all good goals, but we need to set the same resolutions every year, okay? And then we don't stick with them. And so let's shake things up a bit. So here are actually 53 things that you might want to think about. Okay, and this is just to kind of get your juices flowing, what you might think would be something that would be something positive. Number one, focus on a passion, not the way you look. Okay? Whenever we have a passion about something, we're probably going to carry through with it, right? I think about Wendy, she just has that passion for, making the quilt. She'll do it wherever she's at, and so she'll do it in class, and she'll do it in church. It seems like every time I see her, she's just following through on that passion. So make it something passionate.
It's not always quilts. Sometimes she made the little dragons and
Yeah.
little animals, and when she made the spooky quilt,
Yeah.
she had all kinds of little people.
Yeah.
It's to keep her focus on something,
Yeah.
so that the children in her head leave her alone and she can focus on who's talking.
Yeah.
But yeah, she always prepares something to keep her hands busy, and it isn't always the quilts.
Right. I just use
yeah.
quilts as an
Yeah.
example.
But
you're
it-
right. She
it
keeps
is-
herself.
It is, she just always keeps herself
Yeah.
doing something, and she does the same thing in her home.
Yeah.
We got to be there for Abraham yesterday, and she's a decorator, and she had snowmen and snow scenes and stuff all over her house. And when winter changes, I have watched the seasons in her house, and it's fun to
Just
watch because all the decorations
Yeah.
change, and they all go in boxes, and they're all categories in the
Yeah.
garage, and it's just
Yeah.
fun to watch.
Yeah.
So she does, she has that goal to make her house just homey and fun and surrounded by fun stuff.
I know in our household, Sue really gets into the holidays. I don't have any desire. I mean, when I lived, on my own, my house was the same January 1st as it was March 1st, as it was July 1st, as it was November 1st, and so on.
And that's festive, right?
What's that?
And that's festive, right?
That's a what was that?
The house was festive. You said
Well-
it's like every day. Well, every
No,
day's
No, I
festive.
just didn't. I just did not decorate for the holidays. I didn't decorate for Easter. I didn't decorate for Thanksgiving or Halloween or Christmas. But Sue does. I mean, she loves that. And so we've got part of our basement storage area where every holidays, stacked stuff, and those things will come up. And when the holiday's over, they'll go back in the storage room, and the next holiday will pop up. It's like that's her passion. She loves it. Sorry.
I just wanted to make you feel better, Paul. I'm exactly the same way.
I think a lot of guys are.
I'm a very dry person when it comes to what I may be interested in.
Yeah.
So,
But I have different passions, and that's great. I love to cook. I love it, and so in our household, I do all the cooking. Now, there's a difference when a holiday's around and we're having a lot of people over. Sue does that cooking. But on a day-to-day basis, lunch, dinner, next day, same thing. I make the meals, and because that's my passion. I love that. And she would rather not, because she doesn't love that. That's not her passion. So find your passion, the things that make you feel good, and go with it. And maybe that would be something that, you might want to even expand upon for a resolution. Number 2, work out to feel good, not to be thinner. So not to so much concentrate on how you look, but on how you feel. Okay. Number 3, and this was one that I could really probably use myself, stop gossiping and spread positivity. Okay. That's what I love about this church, because a lot of our lessons that Sue talks about, a lot of the people that come here carry on such a positive attitude. And, I may go around through the week and, swearing at this person or that person for, not driving fast enough when I'm trying to get somewhere or, whatever. But I come here, it's like, let it go, and, so anyway, gossiping.
This is one of those places that you can be in a poor mood.
Yeah.
But when you get here, you're not going to stay in a poor mood.
Absolutely. And I think it really reinforces us to see what's important, what is important, and those relationships, and that positivity is important. I think it's important for our health.
Drop in on an Abraham class sometime. If you're in a bad mood,
Okay.
just drop in on an Abraham class or.
And I would say the
anything.
same thing about, you know what? I haven't had
By
my
accident.
microphone.
Even by accident.
Yes.
I'm hoping, I don't know if is that any different? Oh, yeah. I'm hoping that people could hear me online. Fourth one, give one compliment a day. If we actually think consciously, do we really tell people, how much we care about them? Do we tell them, I really appreciate what you just did for someone else? Do we say something positive to them? Give a compliment. Maybe it's just one time a day. If you can just in your mind think about that conscious behavior to give one compliment a day. Number 5, go a whole day without checking your email. How many people are addicted to their email? I'm just the opposite. I hate my email. So if I check my email once a week, that would be really good for me. I need to have just the opposite. I need to
Yeah, I'm that way
check
too.
my email. But for a lot of people, it's like, let it go. You know?
I got this thing that
Jerry.
over the years I've had multiple email accounts, so I got this thing about every day. I go in and delete all the
Oh,
junk
Joe?
emails off and get it down to
Yeah.
a manageable level. And and I'm pretty passionate about that. That's one of my daily goals is to
Yeah.
go in and delete all the junk emails.
That's a good one, Brenda, because I think that's why I don't check my emails,
Yeah.
because 99.9% of them are junk.
Delete,
Yeah.
delete,
And I
delete,
just-
delete, delete.
It's just like it's work to me, and so I don't do it.
And another one, I try to get out and take a walk every day.
That's a good one, and I love that, and that's important to me
And
too.
I go, there's, around my neighborhood, I go to, there's several retail stores I go to around the area. And I don't only go there to get stuff, but I also go there
Yeah.
to interact with
Yeah,
the people,
yeah,
with people.
yeah.
And
That's your community.
it's,
It brings them joy, and
it brings
you
me joy, and it
Yeah.
brings them joy.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. That's great. And, I agree with you too. And I think, just getting out, being with people, sharing who you are, and, and let them listen, let them tell you who they are. And that's so important, because so many people are isolated, even if they're out there in their job. It's just like they're just getting these, insignificant conversations. And if you show concern and care, that is so big to them. That is big for you too. Number 6, do random acts of kindness. What a great thing. What a great resolution. Do random acts of kindness.
And that can look like just a moment in time too. It doesn't have to be a big deal. Walking around Walmart, pushing my cart, I'll come up by somebody or start to pass them,
Yeah.
and I'll go, Raisha. And they just start cracking up.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody has a good time.
And that's how great that is.
Yeah.
Because most people aren't that way. And, yeah, it's wonderful. You are a gift of joy to so many people when you do stuff like
I'm nuts, is what it is. That's okay.
that. Okay.
I like nuts.
Number 7, read one book a month. Does somebody like to read? I mean, that's reading a book is getting less popular as time is going on, and I'm not sure why that is. I love to read, but I don't discipline myself to do it as much as I would like.
Time.
Time is one of those things. I think part for me is it's so much easier to just, look at social media or watch a television program or something that I just don't have to think about. I just zone out. But reading a book, you actually, I just feel so much better when I read a book. Sure.
I think we all have our own particulars in life. I've got to have, I've got to have something that I can learn. I have to read a page and a half, and I have to stop and
Yeah.
really think about
Yeah.
what I just read and how it fits in my life.
Yeah. And I love those kind of books too, because I tend to gravitate towards those things where you're learning. Sometimes I just want to read a novel and just, it's not nothing serious. It's just more entertaining, but it's still reading. So both, I like both. Number 8, go somewhere you've never been. I love doing that because it just brings, what a way to open up and learn from other cultures or other ethnic groups or just other areas in the country maybe. Number 9, clear out the clutter. Research shows it's better
not any fun.
It's not fun, but you know, it does
where I'm
make,
at.
whenever I clean up, I always feel better, you know, like it or not, but I put it off because it's not
I just don't go in that room.
fun.
I don't
Now, I have met people where that is really true. They'll have, you know, a big house, a lot of bedrooms, and they shut off all these bedrooms because they're stacked. And,
I don't have a room I can do that with.
yeah,
My house is this big.
and I think that's an advantage for, you know, living more simply. Number 10, turn off your phone one night a week. You know, I'm just as guilty as many people. Younger people are more addicted than I am, though. That phone is like right in front of their face 24 hours a day, it seems like. But anyway, turn off your phone one night a week. Number 11, reduce your waste, and that's not the WAIST, that's the WASTE. The average American produces over 2,000 pounds of trash every year. So, you know, maybe we could, you know, reduce the use. Jerry?
Yeah, I always try to tell everybody they need to go just to the other side of downtown St. Louis and look at that mountain.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I don't know how big it is now,
Yeah.
but it was absolutely huge when I went by there every week or so.
I don't know how we can actually keep doing what we're doing.
We can't.
It doesn't make any sense, does it? You know, there has to be a breaking point at some point, I would think. But anyway, that's another subject.
Yes, it is.
Number 12, volunteer. And that's something that always makes me feel so good. You know, when I come in here and help out at the cold weather shelter, or come here and do the things that I feel like I can contribute to, doing this, doing a class, you know. But going out and maybe cleaning up the yard, cleaning up the church, you know, helping Brenda install things here at church. I always feel good about volunteering, right? And I know all of you do that too. So, number 13, travel up small budget. When I was young, I had no money. That did not stop me from traveling. You know, I would still sleep in the back of my truck. I would take my kids. We would go on vacation every year, even though we had no money. We would camp out in the forest and mountains. You know, we'd go swimming in lakes. You would go to places that were free. You know, you go to museums. You go to the library. You know, you go to the art museum. But you find things that are there to do, and oftentimes those things that are free are actually more fun than the things you pay a lot for. I don't know if you've ever noticed that or not, but it is. It's anyway. Travel on a small budget.
I've been thinking about hitchhiking again.
You know what? I did that all the time when I was young. I did, and one time I parked my car by the highway, hitchhiked to the city to watch a movie, and then hitchhiked back, got in my car, and drove home. But so, you know, there was one time I wanted to go to a Van Morrison concert in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it was like, I'm not going to drive my old car that far. I was like, stuck out my thumb. Made it there overnight, went to the Van Morrison concert, stayed with a couple people that I didn't even know, and then hitchhiked back. It was like, those were the days. But, you know, they say hitchhiking is different now. I don't know. But I did it when I was young. It was an adventure. That's what it was.
That was interesting because it was at a Van Morrison concert in San Diego that I decided I needed to go back to New York. And the people that had sent me a one-way ticket to get to San Diego did not have the money to get me back to New York. And so I hitchhiked from San Diego to New York.
That's a long way to hitchhike.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting.
Oh, well, it is. And that's the thing. You even back then, you were taking a risk. I've never had any dangerous situations, but I certainly had very interesting situations.
I had a couple that got kind of spooky.
Yeah, I bet. You know, I bet. And I think that's why people don't do it so much anymore, because it can be. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll look at it now, and there's just no more to fear now than there was then.
Yeah.
We just have the rape that happened in Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah.
On our TV in our house where
We
we're at.
do.
So
Well, we do.
it's not like,
When you think about the news, it's all about the negative.
oh yeah, and this is, there's just so much good going on in the world.
Yeah,
And we very rarely hear about it unless you're on
Yeah.
a PBS station or something.
yeah, it's true.
Well, also, I mean, it's all based on numbers. You've got more people, so obviously there is more.
More,
Yeah.
but
I mean, you can't say there's not anymore, because there's gotta be more, because there's more people.
Yeah.
So
But there's also more good.
there's also more good.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, that's,
You know, I'm just gonna read off these really quick because we're almost out of time. If any of them resonate with you, I actually brought paper and pens, you know, I don't know if you wanna write any of them down or not, but, or you can look at this sheet later. If any of them resonate with you and you wanna remember it. Write down one thing you're grateful for every night. Drink more water. 75% of us are chronically dehydrated. 16, take a small part of your paycheck and put it into savings or investments. 17, stop multitasking. Research shows that it is not effective. 18, talk to yourself with kindness. To yourself with kindness. Number 19, call a friend instead of texting. 20, don't buy things you don't need. A lot of these things, I think, are actually geared for younger people too, because, you know, I do prefer to talk to people on the phone as opposed to texting. I think that's a generation. 21, keep a journal. 22, clean out your car. 23, put your bills on auto pay. 24, take the stairs. 25, be kind on social media. Whew, that's a tough one for a lot of people. 26, let go of grudges. 27, stay in touch with the people who matter. Big one. 29, try a totally new restaurant. I like doing that. 30, start a new hobby. 31, travel somewhere without posting about it on social media. 32, bring a plant into your home. 33, sanitize your personal belongings. I'm not quite sure why that's there. I guess they thought we carry germs around. Or, I don't know.
But we need germs to build
Immunity.
Yeah.
34, start cooking. I don't have trouble with that one. 35, buy less plastic. 36, send handwritten letters. Guys, how I miss some of those sometimes, you know, go to the mailbox and get an actual letter from somebody. 37, donate clothes you never wear. What a great thing that we do that here a lot. 38, pay off your credit card every month. 39, avoid people who complain a lot. You might have one or two of those people in your life.
Used to.
Used to. There you go. You've already conquered that one then.
Actually, they got rid of me.
Oh, okay. Well, one way or the other. 40, remove negativity or anything that makes you feel lousy. 41, travel somewhere with no map. Have you ever done that? Got in your car and just went and you didn't know where the heck you were?
I haven't got lost.
Man, I
yeah,
love doing that actually.
I've done
It's just fun. And I always found a great place. And of course, then it's just getting back home. If you have a GPS, you can always find your way back. But that's just fun for me.
Not if you're in the middle of nowhere.
Anyway.
If you go to Tamarack, you can't always find your way.
Oh.
GPS doesn't work.
Oh, yeah.
42, wear sunscreen. I'm going to jump. 44, do something you're afraid to do. That's a big one for a lot of people. You know? 45, make your bed every morning. I don't know why, but okay. 46, stay on top of your inbox. That's something I need to do. 47, try guided meditation. We always have our meditation on Sunday nights here, but there's a lot of other opportunities for that. 48, stretch. That's a big one for me. I love doing that now. 49, craft something yourself. 50, go to bed happy each night. 51, I love this one. Pay it forward. I love that, you know. 52, talk less, listen more. 53, whatever your goals, write them down. If you write them down, 42% more effective. And I'm going to call it quits on that, even though I had 3 really great jokes. More.
Oh, come on.
you to stop.
Oh, Paul, I was gonna.
It's 10:17, and I am gonna read the announcements.
Before you do that, I was just
Yeah.
gonna suggest that maybe you should post those,
Oh, okay,
if you have time.
yeah. All right, maybe I should. There you go.
Or you could, I didn't mean to say
Yeah,
should. You could post them.
I'll just take a picture of it.
okay,
That way I can print it out.
there you go. Meditation, tonight at 6 p.m. Those are fun. I've only gotten a couple of them, but they're great. If you ever get the wherewithal to do that, you'll love it. The grief support group will not meet tomorrow. They will resume every Monday at 6 p.m. the following week on. The church will be closed Wednesday for New Year's Day. The Unity Drum Circle is this Thursday. Bring a drum. Everyone's welcome. Our next Friendship Sunday potluck is January 5th. I think that's next Sunday, isn't it? Yeah. Please sign up in the foyer with what type of dish you'll bring. We do not have the class during Friendship Sunday, so we're not going to have a class next Sunday. Begin the new year with a clear vision and a renewed sense of purpose at our annual White Stone ceremony. That's next Sunday. The Unity Men's Group and Potluck meets monthly on the first Tuesday at 6 p.m. Next one's going to be January 7th. And I invite you two men to come if you want. Please bring a dish to share. We always have a potluck. They're always great. Join us for a transformative experience at our treasure mapping workshop on January 11th at 10 a.m. Sue's going to facilitate that. And if you have any unwanted magazines, please bring them to donate. In January, we'll be electing 3 new board members. If you have an interest, please pick up an application. They must be turned in by January 5th. Would you like to recognize a special occasion or person during the service? You can do so by sponsoring the weekly flowers, something we've done for as long as I've known. It's $50 every year. So that's it. Go ahead, Carla.
Well, I have another announcement that's not church related, but
Okay.
of interest, I think.
Yeah.
Is the Transcendental Meditation, I don't know what they call it, a society or whatever, is offering membership, I guess, or classes or whatever, for half price
Okay.
till the end of this month.
Oh,
And
so very soon.
it's very interesting. It's called Meditate America.
Okay.
And so when I looked online too, they actually do it in English. You don't have to.
Okay.